the quick pitch on Fury is it's a junior exploration company based out of Canada. We've got multiple assets across the country. We're focused on high grade, and right now with market caps around 80 million bucks. I think what sets us apart is our financing. We've got 10 million in the treasury. We've got some other added securities, as well as we've got a big piece of Dolly Varden. We're the largest shareholders of Dolly Varden Silver out in British Columbia. We had sold them a Homestake Ridge project a couple of years ago, about a year and a half ago. So we own 23% of the company. It gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of raising capital and feeling a little more confident about what we're doing. So that's sort of the big picture focus, and the little picture is really we're actively drilling up in James Bay at Eau Claire mine. We've got a potential to show progress out to 2 million ounces is the hope is at next year or two. And then we have a lot of opportunity for new discovery on the property that we've managed and looked at the last couple of years. So we've been drilling since sort of April, but we had a little hiatus because of the fires out there up in Quebec. It was pretty bad, and so we were out for a month. Assay results are still behind, and so we're waiting on those. And 90% of, we've released a couple of holes, 3 holes out in Eau Claire, but 90% of our assay results are still pending and waiting this fall. So we're waiting, hopefully next couple of weeks, and throughout the end of the year, we'll be getting updates on these drilling holes. So the exploration upside to Eau Claire is you've got this pretty neat resource. It's a 1.3 million historical ounces. It was, in our view, mismanaged. We came through, we went back to baseline principles, reconfigured the mine structure and the geology and the data, and we've extended the strike length of Eau Claire by 25% last year alone out on the western hinge. We have opportunity in the gap as well as the eastern extension to continue to extend it further. It's wide open everywhere, including down below. We've only drilled down to 650 meters, so there's room for a lot of growth. What excites me about the property overall is that it's a 55,000 hectare property. We own 30 kilometers of the Canard Deformation Zone. It runs for about 100 kilometers. And what we're finding is, after doing a lot of survey work, geochem, structural, geophysical, is we're finding anomalies that are popping up all along the Canard Deformation Zone, all within a kilometer of this deformation zone. And they have the same structure, the same geophysicals, and the same sort of look and feel as Eau Claire, as well as our Percival project, which we already have 100,000 ounces, is what we're seeing right now. And so if you can show that you have a string of pearls that run across this, it becomes much more of an appetite for the bigger guys looking for a lot more growth and new discovery. And this backs up into the bigger picture, which is one of the things that attracted us about spending money at Eau Claire versus Committee Bay up in Nunavut, or even the Homestake Ridge, which we obviously have passed on to Dolly Varden. But we wanted to focus on this area because Quebec is one of the best places in the world to mine. The government is a huge support and tax benefits to us in terms of putting money in the ground. And at the same time, up in the James Bay, they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the James Bay project, which is a hydro project providing electricity throughout Quebec and down in New England and the United States. So there's massive roads, massive power, and we're literally, you can drive an 18-wheeler right up to the edge of our property. And on that, as you step across the bridge, you look and there's a bridge, or really a dam, that's part of the hydroelectric power. And our camp site that we've been thinking about moving to or looking at is only 200 meters away. It's pretty awesome. I brought up our new chairman a month ago, and he couldn't believe it. This is world class, and one of the things that he's sort of suggests is we emphasize that when you sell and look to be acquired by a bigger company, the first thing they look at is what are the costs involved. And everybody seems to focus on just finding the ounces, but it's all about bringing the profitability together. And you can have all the ounces in the world, but if it's going to cost you more, it's not going to work. So we're starting at a very low cost structure, and we're finding gold, and we have a deposit where we think we can extend that. And what we have more than anything else, in my view, is potential for new discovery on the property. We do have on the property the Eau Claire resource, plus if you go 14 kilometers to the east, we have Percival Project, and historically they found ounces in 2018, so a lot of people feel like there's no new discoveries out there. This was found in 2018. Prospector literally kicked over a rock, found 14 grams, they stuck a drill behind it, and voila, they had a nice new discovery. We went back last year. We had a pretty nice hit at the end of the year that shot the stock up 100% end of December. We went back, we've got 9 holes drilled around that. We're waiting on results, and we're optimistic, and we're excited to see what that's going to be, because if we get some more joy on that, it obviously could mean a lot for our stock. So I came from 23 years in capital markets. It's a different kind of look than if you're coming from geology. I think what makes up a really great company is when you match them both. You match a guy who knows what they're doing on the drill, and you match a guy who knows how to raise money and bring in investors, and also bring a management style and culture to the company. And I think that's what was missing. When I took over, we were underfinanced. And we really didn't have a culture. I worked on trading floor for most of my life, and basically you want to bring everybody together and bring a team together, and you share, and it's a flat management style. And that's worked for us. And we're getting a lot more excitement, and everybody has this energy. And when we meet with investors a lot of time, they pick up on that, and they want a junior company that's active and thinking about how you create value and making the most of their dollars and time, not just, hey, the market's off, let's just go on quiet period for 3 years and I'll just get paid and move on like that. We're constantly searching for new ideas and reaching out to resources that I bring to the table, but also what I'm bringing out and what our geologists have, and teaching them how to, network with their own community. At the same time, we've added 2 new people to the board. I think it's going to be game-changing from an experience point of view. I got Brian Christie, who comes to us from Agnico Eagle for 10 years. I've known him for 20 years. He's a good friend, and he's incredible at what he does. He's basically ran IR for Agnico Eagle for 10 years and spent all that time going around to all the top portfolio management groups in the world. And when you bring my experience in institutional sales and his together, I think it's a great combo. And then we also brought on Isabel Cadeau, who's at Sidex for 25 years, and she is awesome. And she's done nothing but invest in small cap mining exploration companies in Quebec for 25 years. We got very lucky with both of them, and I'm excited. Well, we've been really lucky, and so we sold some stock last year, Dolly, and we still have all that money. That's $7 million. So the plan right now is to end the year around between $6 and $7.5 million bucks. We raised $8.5 million in February, so that takes care of the flow that we were going to put in the ground this year, and we might have a little bit extra left over depending upon what we want to do. But from a cash raise standpoint, we're good for now. We've also got the Dolly Varden position, which sort of floats between $45 and $50 million. I was just out at Dolly 3 weeks ago, and they've got 90% of their assay results pending, and they've had 5 drills going all summer. So I have no interest in selling that stock. I think they're in a great position, and we're just going to take our time in this market and just be thoughtful how we raise money. Dolly Varden basically owns sort of the sister property to ours up in British Columbia. It's in this valley, and they own the southern contingency, and we own the sort of northern part. And Hecla actually owns quite a bit of property around it, all in that area. I think it's in the market where a lot of people feel it's a potential takeout target. They're approaching the 2 million ounces, and I think when you put those properties together, it becomes incredibly enticing. There just isn't that many new silver discoveries out there. And you know, they've really pushed the needle, and they've raised a lot of money in the last year with investor confidence. And Sean Kun is an awesome CEO. He has a great team. We have 2 people on the board. You know, my geologist was buying more stock last week. So and he's worked on that project for over 5 years. So I think that's a pretty big vote of confidence. So it's been 5 years since we did a PEA on the property in 2018. It's clearly overdue, and so what we want to do is finish the projects of our drilling this summer, and then in the first quarter of the new year come out with a resource update. The PEA is expensive to do, and again, we want to put money in the ground. You know, we don't fly on business class. We don't go out to fancy restaurants. We try to cut corners, and we want to leave some on the table if someone wants to come by us, obviously. So we don't feel we need to do a whole PEA, but a resource update will come out in the new year. And the goal here is to show a pathway to 2 million ounces is the goal. And whether it's 1.8, 1.9, I don't know, but that's the goal. It's not easy. I've been here for 2 years, and we've really worked hard, and we've really created, in my view, a lot of value. The share prices haven't reflected that. And I think it's a lot of the junior space is hurting for cash as well as the mid-cap space. As a capital markets guy, I've always been under the premise that consolidation is a good thing. I think there are a number of companies who probably don't have the assets and aren't going to be able to raise the money. But what you'll find is that the good assets will matriculate to the top, and where you want to be. And theoretically, as you're coming out of this, whether it's consolidation or investment cash coming into the group on the back of good gold prospects, you want to be best in class. And so the way I've positioned our company in the junior space is saddling up to some of the bigger companies like Newmont and Agnico as partners, as well as getting big institutional names sort of poised to come in. And I think the goal of the juniors is to basically keep upgrading your assets as much as you possibly can within the constraints of the market. But consolidation should come, and I think it's going to be good. And this is my sense at this conference over last year, where it was much more investor interest. We're having a lot more corporate interest across the board, and I think there's more excitement for that, because there are a lot of opportunities. People are ready to come to the table with reasonable pricing and act on it. And I think that's what we need. Look, I think going forward in this industry, you want your companies to basically take your money as an investor and manage it with good fiduciary control. And that's what we've been trying to do as a company. And I think when you look at Fury, the oddity that I find is we've got this $50 million in Dolly Varden position. We've got $10, $12 million in the bank, and we've got less than 15 million enterprise value on properties that are really pretty great, and big properties next to big companies with big exploration potential and new discovery potential. And what I think they're missing is they're focusing too much on the deal today and not looking at the potential growth of the company. And I've been getting a lot of people in from where my background is, because they're looking at the mismatch, and value is created here, and you have an opportunity to get into a best of class company. And I think you do yourself service just getting something in so you can keep an eye on it, because when it goes, and when this market goes, it's going to rip, and everybody's going to be sitting there second guessing their decisions. buy into people first and management first, and look for experience and execution and culture, and that's going to do you well in an industry like this.